Hi everyone, this is Jim Egan, head of school, Synapse School, with a Friday update here in the summer. I have some things to go over. I wrote some notes down so I won't forget them. But we're hard at work here at school, both on campus and virtually. And we've been meeting in teams and really digesting a lot of information, and many things are starting to come together for us. And I was thinking about this concept of strong opinions loosely held. Some of you might know that phrase and what that means, and I feel that it's applicable to us. These are complex times. The situation is fluid and uncertain, and we're under a bit of a time crunch, right? So we're looking at an August 6th start. That's not far away. And if you don't know what strong opinions, loosely held, that sort of framework of thinking is about, it really is bringing together a strong team, which we have, and I'll tell you about that in a minute, to challenge some assumptions, challenge my assumptions and my opinions. So I need to come up with strong opinion pretty quickly and be willing to have people pressure test it and challenge it. One of the beauties of our community, and particularly of our staff, is that there is psychological and emotional safety to challenge leadership, which is fine. It takes some work to cultivate that culture, but that's what we're doing here, right? We're doing this so we don't rely on anecdotal evidence. Instead, we rely on scientific data, right? We have to be careful with our confirmation bias or recency bias or over-optimism, which is something that we do have a bit of at Synapse. And so we are really putting this to the test with a group of teams. And so when I speak of teams, the strategic sprint team that is putting together the program, and that's Deanna, Katie, Stephanie, Liz T in the Brainwave Learning Center, Isha, Brian B, and myself. We meet twice a day, and we are operationalizing every single bit of our school and rethinking everything from how do we get lower school kids to the bathroom, how do we get them to wash their hands, how do we get kids on a shuttle and off a shuttle, to the flow of traffic within the buildings, to the outdoors, how do we make sure the desks and tables are physically distant, how do we make sure we have enough of those small chairs and tables. It's an incredible task to try to operationalize this situation, and they are working tirelessly. That group in particular has been working nonstop since January, right? And let me explain. We were leading up to that interactive lab that we never got to, but the sprint for them started in January, right? Like that's every year that there's a huge push in T2 to get the community to that lab. And instead of lab, we went right into distance learning. So I do want you to know that that group I met with today, and Deanna and I talked about this yesterday, is that group was told that they're taking Fridays off from here on out. It's just going to be 9 to 3 Fridays off, and the 20th of July they're going on vacation, and that's sort of a forced break that they so deserve. They've been going full tilt from the new year, and that's not healthy, and I think everyone can agree with that as well. Another team that's been incredible is sort of the operations team. Bob Bear is leading that on facility side. Joanne, my assistant, she's on that team. Thomas, who is our handyman, so to speak, on campus, as well as the crews from Beals Martin and our cleaning crew from Wesney, right? So they're there getting things in order, getting things ready. So there's like two sort of major teams, that program team and the operations team, and I can't say enough good things about the work they're doing. It's incredible. Of course, we have a task force as well, and I want to be sure they get the credit they're due. Pooja, Matal, a parent, and Sarah Cueva, both MDs, they have been such wonderful helps to our community, to me personally, and they've been guiding a lot of the conversations and the decisions that are getting made. So we're getting there. We're getting to a point where decisions are starting to be made. So with that being said, some key information that you need to know. So the decisions are being made. We're starting to create those documents, and we're really working on our program, our procedures, our protocols, and our waivers as well, right? So this is all being getting sort of distilled down, and the internal date that we're working on to get them to parents and families is July 10th, right? There's a lot that has to go into this. July 10th is the internal deadline for us. We hope to get that to you, so you will get back to us, your decision on being on site, being on campus, or going into distance learning, right? We want to give you the particulars so you can make the best decision that fits for your family. We're going to want that decision back July 15th. Why do we need it back July 15th? Well, we need to staff, we need to operationalize, we need to work on so many logistical challenges. And so July 10th is the date we hope to get this to you, and if we do, then we'll expect it back July 15th so we can be ready to roll August 6th. So those are some important bits of information for you. The other thing, I was talking to some parents about this. The other thing is masks, right? You're seeing an uptick in, I hope, if you're out and about, an uptick in people wearing masks. But I don't think it's so simple for our kids. So I'm suggesting that you start now, if you haven't already, getting your kids used to wearing masks. So there's lots of different masks. There are these masks that you see around that are disposable, right? They fit over the ears. So these masks don't work so great for me, right? My ears sort of pop out a little bit, and so these sort of pop off. Then there are masks that are that you can purchase, that you can tie. Here's one that I use, and this goes above the ears, right? It's a little easier to use, but it's harder to talk through, right? Because it's thicker, so it's harder to talk through. Warms up pretty quickly. This works pretty well for me, but again, every face is different. And so what I use is a buff, right? This is a cycling buff, and if you see, it's actually branded Synapse, and we have to thank Adam Chain, recently graduated, for the really cool design of the new Narwhal Synapse logos that will be going on our athletic uniforms as well, and into a store where you can purchase swag, but thank you, Adam Chain, for that. So the buff works well for me, and you can fold it over if you want it to make it a little thicker as well. But please start getting your kids used to wearing masks. Masks will be part of our protocol to keep people as healthy as possible. And so now is the time to start doing that, even if it's a little bit every day. Okay, hope to see the majority of you at the town hall on Monday. Great showing this week. We will absolutely be there to answer questions and give you more updates as we go. Have a great weekend.